Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar today called What is Theta Healing? We have a special presentation for you today with Lorenzo Hickey being a moderator for Melissa Kirk. And they're going to do interview style. So you guys can hear some of the questions that come up when we're talking about Theta Healing. So I'm going to turn it over to Lorenzo. Go for it.
Great. Thank you, Paula, so much. I appreciate it. And as Paula has alluded to, we've got one of our customers and special guest, Melissa Kirk, with us today. She is an expert in several categories of healing and several other modalities, but today we're going to focus on Theta Healing. So I'm going to ask some questions and ask Melissa to describe in more detail. We also have slides that will match or go along with some of the discussion, so feel free to look at those as you're watching or listening to this recording. So first of all, welcome, Melissa. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Lorenzo.
Excellent. So let's dive in. So where does Theta Healing come from, and generally, how is it used?
So Theta Healing was developed by a woman named Vianna Staball, and she lives now in Montana, but when she was living in Idaho over 20 years ago, she became very ill, and none of the doctors could figure out what was wrong with her. And she had a great connection with God and with higher powers, and she was very psychic and started asking questions about how to heal this, what was wrong, what was causing it. And she was able to do what none of the doctors could do. So she had a large tumor in her leg that she eventually healed. So she's gone on to develop the technique to go into all areas of life. It initially started, though, with healing of the body from disease, from ailments, from pain and suffering. But in the classes that I teach, you can learn how to use these techniques by working with and taking the classes. You learn the basic technique of putting your body and your mind into a theta state, which opens you up to be able to heal. So the theta brainwave is the healing state. It's the dream state. And it's also the state that's used in hypnosis, which is why people will do things out of the ordinary that they wouldn't normally do when they're in the theta state, because it opens you up to suggestion, it opens you up to change and to healing. So the classes, you learn how to put yourself in a theta state, and it's much faster than any other technique that I've learned, and I've learned quite a few. And then you actually go in and rewire the brain. You are pulling out neural pathways that have been there, programmed either in your DNA from your ancestors, things that you came in with, or things that you've developed over the course of your life. And you go in and actually reroute the brain to be more empowered and to stop sabotaging yourself and to get out of your own way. And that's what you're going to be learning in these classes, is how to get down to what the cause of the problem is and what would be more empowering for your life and more in alignment with what you want. So it's a pretty intense learning situation where you're learning how to use this technique and then how to powerfully change your life, your family members, and any of your clients. This class is actually certifying you for being a practitioner, so you're able to use it in your business if that's what your goal is. Many of my clients just use it for their own personal growth and just their own understanding, because I'm using it with them in my business coaching and in my other coaching part of my business. And when they actually learn how to do the technique themselves, then it just is faster when we're working together.
Wow, there's a lot there. That's a great intro. Thank you so much. So talk to me about, and you might have started to allude this a bit, but are there 2 or 3 key principles of Theta Healing that our listeners should really focus on, that they can sort of take away from this initial call?
Well, the main principles are that you're connecting with a source outside of yourself. and how to access that information and those healing powers in a very direct and simple way. So to take this class, there's a general belief that there is a higher power outside of yourself. Now, whether you call that God or you call it the creator, the universe, source, people have different titles for it. But that's where the healing power and the divine information is coming from. It's coming from outside of you. So there's a principle of believing that there is a higher power. And one of the things is when you're doing and using this technique, that you are always getting permission from the person that you're changing the beliefs on. So you have to work with integrity. You can't say, oh, my son always has this problem, I'm going to fix him. He has to be a willing participant and give you permission. And so if you follow those two guidelines, that's basically what the principle is. The principle is creating change on the DNA level. You're actually changing the DNA makeup and changing the body on a cellular basis. And it's very quick. It's done instantly. So it's pretty powerful. And as long as you have cooperation and permission from whoever you're working with, you should have great results.
Great. Well, that actually spawns a new question. And you talked briefly about belief systems. So are there key areas of your life when practicing Theta where belief systems around family, personal relationships, or business that you really focus on as the primary or the most likely to benefit from Theta work? Any belief systems that you would really want to highlight for us?
So this can work in any area of life. So it can work on your beliefs around money. And, usually we start with when you're working with a client and when you're approaching it is what area of their life do they want change in? So that could be in their business. They're either feeling stuck. They don't know how to get to the next level. They want to make some big shifts and changes. It can be in relationships. If you've been in a long-term relationship that is just not serving you anymore and you don't know how to get out of it, or you've experienced dysfunctional relationships, or you're looking for a relationship, finding your soulmate, attracting that business partner that's a perfect match for what you're trying to create, or an intimate partner. It can be used for any kind of ailment or disease. So each part of the body holds its own belief system, and each disease has a belief system that is supporting it. So you can also, there's a class that just focuses on teaching you how to manifest what you want and figuring out the key components to how to get your results much faster. When you use the Theta technique, in addition to being really clear in your intentions, using the law of attraction, it just magnifies exponentially your results. So it can be used in any area of life. And there's psychic mediums that use this technique. There's business people that use it. Mindset has become quite a mainstream concept these days. And this is one of the fastest ways that I've learned how to change the mindset and how to identify the problems with what is happening in your life. So I've also been trained in other techniques such as NLP or hypnosis, which is doing a similar thing. But my experience is just that this is faster and it's very laser focused and helps you. There's classes that you can take that actually just teach you how to get to the bottom of the problem instantly.
Great. Well, thanks again. That makes sense and gives us some key areas to look at. So I have a sort of a weird, strange question. Does Theta practice or a daily practice, is it something like you would do meditation as well? Or is it, how does it relate from a daily practice perspective? Sounds like you spoke a bit about how you would use it in different areas of your life, but can you maybe talk about a daily practice or something that would be able to trigger sort of a Theta, realize that you need to do a Theta healing?
So anything that you want to improve. So, I have a lot of clients that are multimillionaires and they're already experiencing success, but they want more, or they want to grow something else, or they are having a health issue. So you don't have to be in a bad place in order for it to work. You just have to want to make change or improvement. So if you're going along and each day you can check in with yourself and you can do the connection with the higher source and just ask for what things you can work on. If you have an area where you're feeling stuck, or you're having a repeated problem in a relationship where you just can't get past a certain issue, you can always hope that the other person's going to change, or you can do the change yourself. So what I've noticed is that we attract people into our life to see and show us what it is that we need to work on. So if you keep having a problem with your partner, they're going to be really showing you what beliefs you have that are ready to be changed. And the problem is probably not going to go away because until you look at it and figure out what belief is coming up to be looked at. So yes, this is something you can do on a daily basis. You can use the technique on yourself, and you can get a lot of insights and really, center yourself for your day if you start your day out each day doing this. It is similar to like a meditation, but it can be a very profound change that's made, and get very amazing insights from connecting daily and putting it into part of your habit on a daily basis.
Great. Thanks again. So I know that in our pre-call, we had talked about you have several workshops over the course of a year, and you have one coming up in California. I know you have something coming up in Arizona in the fall of this year. Can you talk about the general agenda of the 3-day workshop and just kind of how it works for our audience as they listen to this call?
Sure. So the first class that you have to take with is called the Basic DNA. And in that workshop, there's a workbook, and there's also an actual a reading book as well. So you get both of those during the workshop, and you learn what the basic techniques are, and then how to go through and make the changes on other people, and how to work with the technique. And then there are many exercises on giving you ideas of how to use the technique. For instance, with manifesting what you want, attracting the soulmate, dealing with money issues. So what happens is you're going to learn the techniques, and it's going to be broken down into small parts. And then you're going to practice with a partner. So you're going to actually do hands-on work with another person, and practicing on digging down to those bottom beliefs, and you're going to get a lot of realizations about yourself. And then the next class, the advanced class, is another 3-day class. It has a similar format, but you're just taking things to a different level. You're learning some more basic programs that most people have that are holding them back. You get some empowered downloads to reprogram your whole brain in that class. And a lot of that is downloads that I'm just giving to each of the students. So what that means is, if you're open and willing to receive those downloads, then it's kind of like if you take your computer in to be worked on, and they download a whole bunch of new programs and software that you can now, do graphic arts, or you can do spreadsheets, you can do all different kinds of things that your computer was not equipped with before. That's what happens in this second class. And then you learn and practice some of the same techniques that you did in the first class, and some of them go deeper. And then you also learn new things. So it's teaching you not only the technique and how to get to the bottom root of the problem, but also how to apply it into daily life, into different situations. And one of the things I haven't really discussed today about what kinds of beliefs I'm talking about. So typically the type of problems, if someone comes to me because they are not making enough money, the problem is not that they're making enough money. The problem is really what would happen if you were making more money? There's something there that your brain and your unconscious mind is protecting you from, a fear or an association that does not go along with how the brain is currently programmed. So for instance, if you think that all rich people are mean and greedy and out to get people, and you don't want to be viewed that way, then your unconscious mind is going to protect you from becoming rich. If you believe that all men are just out there to take advantage of you and that they've got an ulterior motive and that no man really loves you, then you're going to sabotage every relationship that you get in. And the same thing with healing. So sometimes people don't even realize that all the benefits that they're getting out of being ill. For instance, they're not having to go to work. They may be getting attention from loved ones. Their living situation may have changed. And there may be a lot of fears there. If they got better, what would they have to do? And they'd give up their free time. They'd have to go back to work, or they'd be back in responsibility to doing things that they got out of by creating this illness. So there's a lot of different things and a lot of complicated systems that our brain creates in order to get us protected from the things that we fear or don't think that we don't want. So this is a way of really getting to the deep root issue and solving it once and for all. And some problems that we have very deep root systems and have lots and lots of beliefs that are supporting it. So it's a way of unraveling a whole paradigm. And it can also work with not only your health issues, but also like weight conditions and being overweight or underweight, and finding there's a class that teaches you just about like what belief systems will keep you out of your perfect weight balance. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. So it, of course, leads to another. So I'm thinking both myself and others that I know of that have listened or will be listening to this interview often are coaches and would like to use this technique. Mind shift techniques are very important and very topical in the marketplace today. And so what begs the question is, if going to these classes, can we as practitioners or coaches use this technique or use this information to actually help others and become either certified or get some sort of certificate or something that lets us start to practice this and help others? Is that part of the class?
Yes, the class is a certification class. So after you take the first 3-day class, you will be certified as a Theta Healing practitioner. And so what that means is that you're able to use this technique on any of your clients, any of your family members, on yourself. And yes, including it in your business. It can be an extra revenue stream. It can be something you use in your coaching practice. There are times when I use this in my coaching practice where, I'm getting into planning and creating strategies and things like that from a conscious mind standpoint. And I keep hearing my clients say things that lead me to know that they have beliefs that are blocking their progress. And so in the middle of my coaching session, I may work on a few of their beliefs that need to be changed so that they can actualize the results that we're working on. So I do it sometimes just during the middle of my coaching sessions. And then I also do hour-long sessions of just Theta Healing where you can work on many different beliefs and getting to those core issues. So, yes, and I do know many practitioners that all they do is Theta Healing work. They don't even really, you may specialize in a certain areas, like if you're really into, helping people create an ideal relationship. There are relationship coaches that use the Theta Healing and their focus is just on those beliefs. I know manifesting coaches, and you can combine it with other things in your practice. So like I am a law of attraction coach, and I really help my clients get clear on what it is that they're wanting to create, and then work backwards to create the path for how to get there most efficiently. And along the way, we're going to be clearing beliefs that come up that need to be changed. So there's an unlimited way that you can use this information, and you are certified as a practitioner once you take the very first 3-day class. And then, of course, you can enhance your skills and get more practice by taking more classes. But you are certified after the very first 3-day class to use it on your clients.
Great. That again sounds really exciting for those of us that maybe want to pursue more one-on-one coaching or things of that nature. Before we wrap up this interview, is there anything else you want to suggest or talk about in terms of just general information that you would like to share? Otherwise, we'll close in a little bit.
Well, the only thing, that I think I haven't really said was how this has really impacted me in my life. And when I started this about 12 years ago, I took my very first Theta Healing class, and I was in a very bad place in my life. And it really helped me with my health. It helped me with understanding a lot of things in my 20-year marriage and why things had happened the way they did, and helped me to really grow as a person. So if you're looking for a way of doing personal growth and changing your reality, that's why I started this. And I've done so many different types of techniques in my personal growth. And this is the one I've taken the deepest. This is the one I've had the most profound change. So, I was really stuck and really needing help. And I was having health issues, money issues, and I was basically in a depression, which looking back on at the time, I didn't really realize that. But I had 3 little kids that I had to work with and raise and support. And I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't really dug deep into this technique and really started changing the way I thought about things and the way I was interacting in the world, and also just changing and improving myself. So, it's 3 days and you're going to learn a lot. And even just taking the 3-day class, I know people that haven't really done much else with it, and their life is never the same. You really learn a lot. It's really impactful, and it has unlimited potential to make changes in your life going forward.
Well, thank you for that, Melissa. That was actually quite revealing, and appreciate your vulnerability, being vulnerable there. It does sound terrific. The fact that you can use it in personal relationships and key day-to-day activities. The fact that you can use Theta Healing as a business practice to augment some of the things you already do. It sounds like there's just a tremendous set of value and value proposition around this. So thank you for that. I want to thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak with you today. It's been great. I want to thank Paula for orchestrating and making this recording and making it available to others that might be listening in the future. So I just wanted to say thank you to all, and we'll say goodbye for now. All right. Take care,
Thanks,
everybody.
Lorenzo.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Paula.
Mm-hmm. Bye for now.